Success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
Hi, Realtor Growth listeners. Today I got Itamar Shafir. He is a CEO of Umbrella. He's going to dive a little deeper into kind of what Umbrella does. I guess the quick synopsis is, do you know technology? Do you know SEO? Do you know basically more than probably the average person or more than most people out there, yet trying to find a way to maximize that potential and make some money off it? There's usually going to be that little threshold to build it into a business instead of just kind of doing favors for people. This is where Umbrella comes about. Thank you, Itamar, for being here today.
Thank you, Vinny. I'm happy to be here.
So let's just jump into it. If we jumped into an elevator together, what's your elevator pitch? If someone goes, hey, Itamar, what do you do? What does your company do?
So our company is the best path for you to start or scale a marketing agency. That's like the 10-second pitch. And if you want to expand a little bit, is we touch on 4 things that are usually the most problematic for people starting a business: having the best quality products for the best margins and having those done for you. So you can plug into Umbrella system and get all the marketing services, resell any of them, SEO, PPC, chatbots, website, anything that you want from the best vendors for the best prices, and it's all done for you. You make 50+% margins. Lead gen and prospecting in any niche. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate, doesn't matter if you're in insurance, doesn't matter where you are. Finding clients, you probably spend 80% of the time prospecting and maybe 20% of the time making sales, like maybe sales conversation. So we have a call center that generates leads for agencies specifically, focuses on digital marketing. Then training, because you don't know everything and you don't know all the products and you don't know how to sell. Again, it doesn't matter which niche you are. Specifically, I'm in marketing. So we have encompassing training for that. And probably one of the most exciting things that we launched a year and a half ago was our client-facing brand, which is like a Remax for marketing agencies. If you think about it, startup marketing agency or SEO consultant or Facebook consultant, they don't have a brand, don't have case studies, don't have reviews, don't have testimonials. They walk out to somebody, they say, I can help you. And the guy says, why? Why do you think he can help you? What have you done before? So now they can come under Umbrella Local, which is our brand, and we have all the testimonials and case studies and reviews and online exposure. So that's
that brings me to the next point. I mean, how do you vet to make sure that if they're coming under your brand, that they actually know what they're doing, especially if you're providing testimonials and reviews for your company? Because if you bring a bad person on, it could be bad for your name.
Completely. I agree 100%. So we do it in a little bit of a passive way. So first off, we have 3 tiers in our platform. And the highest tier is called Umbrella Local, which is what I just said. It's also the most expensive. So when our salespeople talk with people that are starting out and we recognize that they don't have a good grasp of marketing yet, and they can't handle selling 20 products, and it's too soon for them to do a lot of things, then they say, okay, you know what? Maybe you just start with an SEO agency. Let's focus you on one product. It's like a lower tier. It's also not costly. And you can start selling, making some money, start learning digital marketing, and then expand into a full agency. So that's the first stage. And also we have a passive way of looking at it. If we see people are not making sales over time and we touch base with them and we see for some reason or other, they're not serious, then we cut them off the program.
Well, let's rewind a little bit. Who was a young Itamar?
First off, I'm still young, Vinny.
Younger, the younger guy.
Well, I got out of the military when I was 21. I was there for 3 years, and I started learning for college. And I met my future to be partner, and we decided we want to start something up while we're learning to. I think it was the SATs. And we started. Do you remember Google Answers in 2021? In 2001.
No.
Google had a program back then. The search engines weren't so smart, so Google had a program where they actually had a bunch of people that know how to search online answering manually people's questions for money. You could pay $5 or $15 or $50 to get somebody to get you, the panties market in China. Like if you needed that information for a presentation to your board. And we created something similar. We called it Shark Answers. And after answering like 15,000 questions, we realized we had no business model or anything. And we met somebody who guided us towards start selling information to corporates. So my first company actually transitioned from a tech company to being a secondary marketing research company. And over the years, it transitioned to a content-based marketing agency. And I had it for 7 years. And then when Facebook came out, it did okay. Like it was good. I wasn't, rolling in dough, but it was good, especially for when I was young. But then Facebook came out, and my business partner, who is he's a developer, and we started developing applications on Facebook. Again, I don't know if people remember this, but when Facebook got started, you actually had to develop applications on it, like a sweepstake or a form, and you had to you had to activate your connections to become preferred marketing for marketing partners, so you can actually advertise on Facebook. It wasn't for everybody. And we started doing that, and we got those, and we spinned off the company into a small business automated marketing automation platform. Again, today, people know a lot about marketing automation. Back then, it was special. We won the first Facebook Innovation Competition Award. Our company got acquired a year after. And then I didn't do anything for 3 to 6 months. And then I got invited to join another company that specifically promoted into gig economers. It was one of my partners, my channel partners in the previous company. And I got to start building products for the gig economy. People who are trying to build a business opportunities of different niches, digital marketing, e-com, affiliate marketing, me more on the product tech level, but the company itself was more coaching guru kind of things, if you guys, you know, Vinny, but probably a lot of other listeners. And I spent a year and a half there learning the gig economy niche, which I really fell in love with, because for me as an entrepreneur, it's so cool because now you can talk directly with millions of very small other entrepreneurs, and we can all make money together somehow, trying to somehow make money together. And then after a year and a half, I got the idea to create Umbrella, which brought in my knowledge as a marketer and MarTech professional, and the gig economy into one company. So it's a long answer to a short question.
yeah. Well, and let's dive a little deeper into this onion and peel it apart. Now, before you got into the military, right? Well, first off, what was the idea of joining the military?
Well, I'm Israeli.
Okay,
so it's mandatory for 3 years.
So before you joined the military, did you have interest in technology?
No. Well, I had, but in robotics, not in SaaS or software. My idea was to learn Animatrix. If you guys remember, like Jurassic Park and those robots before we had like hardcore CGI, that's what I wanted to do. I don't know how it became a marketing. Well, I told you how, but I don't know where it fell apart there.
So you had an idea to kind of be in the Animatrix. You get into the military. How does the military change you, or did you feel it changed you at all?
Well, first it did definitely. It's not an environment you're used to, coming out of high school and just, partying and being with friends and stuff. And then they ship you to the desert for like first time you go into the military, like you're gone for 3 weeks, just the first time. And then you have like 6 months of 3 months of boot camps, 3 months of advanced training, then a bunch of other things. So really the first 6 months kind of make you a little bit more more adult pretty fast. And then 2 years into my service, a year and a half into my service, I went to the Air Force headquarters. At the time, they were building the intranet expanding the intranet for the military, and they taught me how to build websites. Before that, I was doing something completely different, but then that was very interesting for me. So I started building websites, and it was more information trees. It wasn't really the visualization of websites as we imagine them today, but it was visualization of content structures online, which I really liked. It's not far from robotics, just virtual. And I guess that kind of pushed me into the web earlier maybe than others.
Do you think you would have still gone the web direction if you weren't in the military and got open to it? Or do you think, I mean, that was just basically you fell in love with it because you saw opportunity there?
It's very hard to say. You
Yeah.
know, it will probably something that has to do with some sort of entrepreneurship, I imagine, at the end of it, because that's what, that's pretty much my psychology, but definitely something creative. And I like to think that I probably animatrix. I had a dream of working for what's the name of the guy who invented the Muppets?
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson. Thank you. My dream as a kid was to work for the Jim Henson Company. That was my dream. So I guess the military did make the change, but not because they forced me into something. It just happened naturally.
Well, so you leave the military, and it seems like your road, I mean, the road you took to get to where you are today has always been entrepreneurship. Has there been a time where you've worked for other companies?
When I got out of the military, I skipped some parts, even though it didn't seem like I was skipping something, but I skipped a full year after the military.
Okay.
So after the military, usually what happens in Israel is because people do 3 years in the military between 18 and 21, then we go on a 6-month, some people a bit less, some people a bit more, 6-month worldly adventure. I went to South America. So before that, you save some money and you work. So I worked for the Yellow Page company as a website builder, Flash builder. For those of you who don't know what Flash is, it was online animation back in the day. And I got paid like much more than all my friends was working as waiters and stuff like that and moving. And that was actually a blessing. Coming out of the military with that knowledge, could immediately get that job as a freelancer, working from home. So that was sweet. And then then the trip, South America. After 6 months, I came back, and then what I said before. Yeah.
Was there ever a time that you felt, even though you're a freelancer, you're technically, I mean, even in that sense, you're still in essence, your own boss. Was there ever a time where you wanted something more consistent, where you didn't want to deal with going after every new lead, but actually getting something kind of like a 9 to 5 or something that was just, you knew where the next paycheck was coming?
Never. I was always very much wanted to do my own thing, even when things were very hard, and they were very hard in the first year and a half. And when we started the agency, we made the 15,000 questions and answers mistake. Then it was hard getting into corporates. Then it was hard evolving into it. Was awful in terms of money the first year. But when you're young, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you're 22. Your cost of living is somewhere between your rent and what you can afford. So it's, you don't have, that's it. So you make it. Today, I wouldn't be able to. If I had to go back to that, I would plan something much smarter. Like if I were today making the move to independence, today there are many more tools and good coaching and good programs. Some is bad, but there are also a lot of good technology. I would definitely plan and chart it out and budget it, and then make the move, because the cost of living as a family man is completely different.
What back then was your North Star, that the big why, that was, you said, like, in the low moments, uh what pushed you forward back then? Do you remember?
I have to say, looking back, it's a little bit, maybe a little bit childish. Today, I think differently, but I wanted to be successful.
Hmm.
It was amorphic. It wasn't for a reason. It was just being successful.
Hmm.
So
W-
today, it's different.
what's it today?
Well, today it's much more calculated. It's very business oriented, meaning I wouldn't do something that doesn't agree with my core values, or wouldn't, or I think create harm in any way. But if it agrees with my values, and I feel I can actually donate as part of being in that project, then the other calculation is, how much money would make for the effort that I'm putting in. I don't care if people think I'm a success or not. I grew beyond it. Um, and maybe it's also, having a family. Seinfeld had a joke. When you become a dad, then you don't care about anything other people say, because you make your own people. And there's something to it. Once you have your home, your wife, your kids, your mindset a little bit changes. I imagine that's the reason.
Makes sense. Now, you you built your businesses based off of your skill set, right? Then over time, you had to hire people, bring other people on. What was the biggest, I guess, hurdle of you knowing how to do something compared to teaching someone or training someone how you wanted something to be done?
That's insane. That's probably, it's probably the hardest thing ever. And most frustrating thing is to always be in a situation where you feel nobody can do the job as well as you can.
Hmm.
And not only that, once you find somebody, after looking for a long time and replacing people that's costing you money, and they're so good, they do their own thing. So they walk out on you, not in a bad way, but because they want to succeed as well. It's definitely hard, but it also has to do with, I imagine, the compensation you can pay,
Hmm.
how much your company supports the different roles in it. Um, just to give you an example, we have people, our members, starting up agencies, and they're starting up, and they want to bring salespeople, and we tell them, "Have you sold anything? We know you haven't. We see it in the platform." It's like a rhetorical question. No. So why would you bring a salesperson? How would you know what to train them? So they tell us, "You have the training," because it's true. We have sales training in the system. I would say, fine. So you don't care that you don't know how the process is going to be. You don't want to run through it once, and they say, okay, maybe yes. Now when you're saying it, maybe it makes sense that I should do it once. Um, and and even then, we tell them, okay, but when you bring one salesperson, who's going to help them with lead gen and calling all the no shows? Oh, there are no shows. Yes, like 50% no shows at minimum. So you need an SDR. Oh, really? What's an SDR? It's somebody who calls all these people and brings them back, and then also calls all the leads that don't book appointment, and book appointments, so you'll have an ROI positive on the campaign. And just so if we're talking about how are you going to generate leads? Because we're teaching you manual one-on-one prospecting because you're getting started. But if you have a salesperson, he needs a full calendar booked all the time. So you need to do advertising. Do you know how to do advertising? No. Okay, so you don't have an advertising person. You don't have an SDR. You haven't run through sales. You don't know the back-end process. How are you going to grow? And that's a lot of times, when after, sometimes after you build a business and you understand those different buckets, then you also understand why some people failed immediately when you brought them initially, because you can't bring a salesperson into a vacuum. They have to have all these different facets to succeed, at least fast. You can bring maybe a partner with sales abilities, but you can't bring a salesperson as a unit. So I think understanding that over the years with some experience really helps bring the right people to fill the right buckets at the right time, so they'll have success, and then they want to stay, and they'll be a productive unit. So that makes things better.
So it's basically pulling them back a little bit so they don't try to run before they learn how to walk.
The members, definitely. Anybody who you have to understand all the facets of the business and how the units and the different units in the business, different we want to call them workers in the business, work together, and how they're connected before you're trying to fill in those different spots. Otherwise, you might be setting them up for failure because you're not helping them.
Well, then this brings me to that next question. Do you think that if a younger you, not a young you, a younger you, that person that was, 24, 25, that was strong-minded, building his business, if he tried to come under the umbrella, do you think you would be able to pull him back, pull the reins back, and allow him to grow?
Yeah. I think it's part of the reason that I'm doing it. It's because of my experience and because what happened to me. It took me 7 years to understand something that today we're providing the training in your first 2 weeks in Umbrella. Now, you obviously understanding something is different than just watching it. But still, you get the support, you get the education, and there are also a lot of other things. I'll give you another example. When I started the agency back in the day, I wore many different hats, right? You're prospecting, you're doing sales, you're doing fulfillment. I did some initially when we were a secondary marketing research company. I did the research as well, which was very time consuming. You're, helping other researchers and content people. You're trying to, back in the day, you had to have an office. People didn't like that you work from home, especially corporates. So you also had to rent an office. So renting an office, meaning people actually call you to the office phone. If there isn't a secretary answering, then it's weird. I couldn't afford a secretary. So I was also answering the phone from time to time. And you have all these different things. And today, I'm going to give the umbrella example because that's my company, but maybe you can have it with in other ways. You don't have to wear all the hats. You can have somebody else doing the fulfillment, for example. So you can focus on becoming a good communicator, providing value, having that consultation process, learning how to provide a marketing strategy. You don't need to know how to actually do SEO. There are people that do it all the time. They can do it much better than you do. But you do need to know that guy needs an SEO. And SEO is right for him now and not, a year from now after they have better reviews or a better website and call for action. So you don't have to wear so many hats. You can focus on on growing your business instead of focusing on also fulfilling and supporting in operations.
If we were talking in 5 years, where do you see your company, Umbrella, even yourself going?
So we're thinking potentially maybe, and that's a big maybe transition into a franchising structure. Eventually, you provide so many things where it just makes sense to switch the model from a platform into a franchise. But if it won't be a franchise, I just hope that our community 5 years from now will be 10x what it is today. 25,000 small marketing agencies. That would be amazing. and maybe also expanding outside the US, which is currently 95% of our members are.
In the US?
Yeah, in the US, because it's also vendor related. So some vendors only work in the US or only work in English languages. So you can support US, UK, Australia. So, but because some technologies, for example, SMS related solutions like reputation management solutions, uh, some of our providers only do the SMS in the States. So we decided not even to try and sell, in other places, because then you get reminders and review notifications just in email, which many times go into spam. SMS is very needed in those situations. So it kind of ended up that we're supporting almost any English speaking country, but it's much easier to just focus in the US from a marketing fire perspective.
Do you ever plan to open it up to other languages?
Not now. We're not in that place yet. But yeah, hopefully, eventually, yes, very much so.
What now, Itamar? I appreciate you. Okay, sorry.
I'll just add something small. As long as there is business, marketing is needed.
Yeah.
Now, marketing shifts a little bit, but businesses always want other people to do marketing for them because they want to focus on what they do. If they're attorneys, they want to provide, legal help. They don't want to do SEO. It's not going to happen. So you always need marketing consultants, marketing agencies, fractional CMOs, however you want to call them, marketing professionals. So I don't think I think it's a position for now, and I think it's for the future as well. 5-10 years for sure. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We're going to be replaced by AIs, and that's it. But until then, I think 10 years is a safe roadmap for being a marketing professional.
Well, I mean, like you've talked about, I mean, as things pop up, right, over the years, I mean, you've had a way to find out, okay, what's going to be the niche, what's going to be the value that I can bring to this product. I mean, for the most part, they've worked out. Yeah, not all of them have worked out. So it's finding out, okay, well, how does Umbrella grow and expand over those years? Does it incorporate AI, in the time? Does it do other things to new technology that it wouldn't even know? So it's about adapting to the new times, and technology is one of those things that grows at such a rapid pace that you have to be able to adapt.
Completely. We use AI a little bit today. I don't know if you ever use copy.ai or other copywriting solutions that are AI based, but they have become phenomenal. I can tell you 2 years back, you would have given them some text to write and it would seem like a bot. Today, you try it afterwards, and I have no association. I just remember the name because it's so easy, copy.ai. Zero association. There are many other great tools. You can write copywriting AI tools in Google. Try them. Write better than human. Faster. And if you're writing copywriting, I'm not just talking about fluff writing. Copywriting text for ads that convert. If you're getting to a place where the machine is more creative than 99% of the people that I know, then you're starting to wonder what am I gonna do a few years from now? So that's when I said 10 years. I think we're good.
What's your value add? I mean, that's, I think, with everyone listening. I mean, be good at what you're good at. I mean, find that value add that you offer that's better than everyone else. I mean, make sure that you can do, whatever it might be, and then outsource the rest of it. Itamar, thank you for being here today on the Road to Growth podcast. I'll finish it off with this last question. Well, before we get into that, where's the best place for people to find more information about you and your company, Umbrella?
UmbrellaUS.com. UmbrellaUS.com. That's the best place.
You've already brought it up with that most people that get into the business, right, they want to run before they can walk. They want to do all these activities and maybe not be great at all of them. For someone that maybe is just doing click campaigns, SEO on their own for like a small business, and they're doing it themselves, what's one of the biggest mistakes they usually do?
I think the biggest mistake that they do is that they don't prospect enough. People forget that prospecting, it takes about 16 net hours to close a sale. That's like the rule of thumb in marketing. Like we said, 85% of that is prospecting. It's not selling. Yeah. It's not talking to anybody. It's sending another email, another LinkedIn message, doing another interview, doing what I'm saying, doing another interview with, on a podcast. It could be anywhere else. Prospecting. I have no other way of defining it. I think that's what people are not doing because they don't like it.
There's so many people, and I see this in real estate all the time, where there's people that are very, very smart in the business, yet they can't prospect a lick, and they're out of the business after a couple of years. And it's just, they're very talented, very educated, yet prospecting is so huge. So I back up your words of prospecting. Thank you again, Itamar, for being here today. Everyone listening, please go in the show notes. You'll find all the information about Itamar and Umbrella. Again, it goes back to that simple idea. We're all good at something. Find out what you're good at. If it's SEO, if it's marketing, whatever it might be, yet you probably need those other links to your chain to allow you to really grow, right? And that's what Umbrella is offering. And take a look, see if Umbrella is right for you. And if it is, fantastic. If it's not, hey, no harm, no foul. But at least give it a chance to see if it's right for you. Thank you guys. Please subscribe, please share, and go in the show notes. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Benny.